Hey folks, welcome to the Coastal Stoic. Thank you very much for joining me here on the central east coast of Florida, hot like everywhere else. Beautiful day. It is so hot. I was going to do this outside, but I was sweating like crazy, so inside it is. Again, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today. It's kind of a little different thing. I'm trying new things, of course, if you've listened, you've seen or heard. And today I'm going to talk about a book. Every summer, for the past 25 years, I have reread Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. Ironically, over the course of these 25 years, I have become an old man in the sea. And that I feel maybe not as old as Santiago in the book, but old enough and out on the sea where wisdom or experience or what have you has provided me with a lot of memories and stories from this. However, I don't want to talk about the book. Let me take that back. I do want to talk about the book, but I want to talk about a part in the book and some things that relate to that. What struck me this year in reading it and my time with the text was the moment, and it's just dwelled with me, the moment when Santiago and the fish are connected, when he hooks the fish. It matters. I love fishing. Fishing to me is the most optimistic space in the world, in that you go out not knowing if you're going to catch anything, but always expecting to catch something. We went out the other day, all day. Well, not all day. We fished for most of the day, though, and we thought we're going to catch something, and we were skunked. And we're not skunked often, but we were skunked on Sunday, alas. I take that back. We did get one massive shrimp when I threw the cast net one time, but that was it. So it's an optimistic sport. Santiago goes out for 84 days without a single fish. He becomes unlucky. Marlin, the boy, doesn't go with him anymore because of the old man's lack of luck. And on the 85th day, he goes out again. Hey, today's the day. He sets his lines. He's got 4 lines out. And then on the 100-fathom line, on a fresh tuna, so that's 600 feet down, a pull. The twig that he has the line suspended on bends down. He's like, oh my gosh. And through the process of the fish nibbling, touching, biting, he finally takes the bait, starts taking out line. So Santiago is waiting for this marlin to take the bait well enough for him to feel that he can set the hook. And it happens. As you know, if you've read the book, if you don't know, spoiler alert. And he pulls a yard of line back. And he pulls again, and he feels the weight of the fish. And he's like, yes, finally, I have this fish. He's praying, please let him take it, please let him take it. And finally, he's connected. And the fish can't be stopped. It's massive, as we find later. And he feels that it's a large fish here, but he doesn't understand how big the fish is. But it's that moment of attachment. And I think about Santiago sitting on this boat out further than anybody else in the deepest water, getting connected to this fish and having such excitement, like, yes! But what struck me in reading this year is that 600 feet down, 100 fathoms down, there's a marlin that's 1,500 pounds, massive, old. And all of a sudden he's like, what the fuck? Something's pulling on him. And he can't comprehend what it is. Now, true, we don't know if he's been hooked before, if he's fought before, but we can only assume that in a fish's brain, I'm assuming, I should say, that he might have some latent memory of what's going on, but He's just expecting a meal. And all of a sudden something's pulling on him. And I'm going to read. So from Hemingway, he writes about the old man. His choice had been to stay in the deep, dark water, far out beyond all snares and traps and treacheries. My choice was to go there to find him, the fish, beyond all people in the world. Now we are joined together and have been since noon, and no one can help either one of us. They're joined together. And it's that moment and that connection that I find fascinating. So are you the old man, the fisherman, or the fish? The old man, think about it. He has been fishing all his life. He's lived a long life of fishing. He's taught this young boy, Marlin, to fish. He's out by himself, comfortable by himself, within himself, for 84 days. Nothing. On the 85th day, he feels prepared. And every time he goes out, he feels like he's ready. He has all of his lines set. He has all of his baits set. He has his harpoon set. He has the boat set. He takes care of all the stuff. He's prepped and planned. He has these 4 lines down at their specific depths. He rows the boat to make sure that his baits are floating, they're drifting at the right depths that he feels are effective. He doesn't get lazy with them. He sticks with them. And then the fish hits. Now, this is not his first fish. He's fished for years, decades. It's not his first fish, but it's his first fish this big. And nobody, we find, at the end, has ever seen a fish such as this. And so it is with fishing, isn't it? And so it is with life, yes? We prep and we plan and we get ready. You can want to be a teacher, a father, a mother, a lawyer, a mechanic, a boat captain, whatever it is. You can want the thing. You can look at the people who do the thing, whatever it is. You can admire them. You can think that's exciting. You can be wanting to be them. And maybe you do, and that's great. But there is no way for you to know what it's like to be that until you are that. You can fish, you can prep, you can get your lines situated, you can be diligent, but you don't know until it happens. And then when it happens, as Santiago says, I have to take it when it comes. Take it as it comes, whatever it is. If it's the fish and the fight or the sharks later, you have to take it as it comes. And so many things in our lives reflect this fisherman mentality, and specifically this fisherman's mentality. And then the fish. The fish and the fishermen are, well, the fisherman is aware of the fish, but he doesn't know what it's like to be a fish. He imagines it. But the fish is ignorant of the man's ways. He's ignorant of the man. He's ignorant of the world beyond the sea. He's 600 feet down, no light. Now, I don't know the mechanics or the biology or the anatomy of a fish's or a marlin's eye, and maybe he's able to see. And Santiago suggested he can see deeper, but his senses are different than ours. Innocent, just wanting a meal, not understanding, if you will, his place in life. Now I say his because Santiago suggests that it is a male fish. I'm not trying to be designated gender specific or what have you. However, this fish, all of a sudden, just thinking he's going to have a meal, is attached to something that he can't comprehend, doesn't know it. It's all of a sudden attached to him. And there might be pain involved with this. For sure, some pull, something that you can't see. That to me is very reflective of times in my life, and I think people's lives in general, where we can't comprehend the urge, the feeling, the fear, the joy, the trepidation, the anxiety, the excitement, whatever we feel. Sometimes we just can't comprehend how and where this is coming from. And oftentimes these moments of what the F, like, are unexpected. You could be cruising through your life like all good, and all of a sudden, bam, you're attached, hooked to something you don't know. You didn't plan for this. You didn't ask for this. You just cruised around looking for something to eat. I imagine that this could be something positive too. You could be going in a dark time, and all of a sudden something good comes in front of you, and you can't comprehend that too. I remember when I first met my wife, she was clearly not my wife at the time, but I was amazed, and the world that I lived in shifted my whole paradigm. We moved thousands of miles away to get me away from a lifestyle that I knew that was not going to be conducive to what I wanted to be as a husband, because I couldn't comprehend doing that until it happened. The fish and the man. And there's so much more in the book itself. But Santiago has a couple of things that he says that I'm going to read just briefly. One of them is about pain. And I think about the pain of the man, and I think about the pain of the fish. It is not bad, he said, and pain does not matter to a man. Well, pain matters for sure. And I think the man or the fish, whichever side of the line you're on, pain matters. He fights this fish symbolically for 3 days, go figure. But the pain absolutely matters to an extent, but he can look past it. Stoics tell us this too. Deal with it. Look at David Goggins, for crying out loud. That dude preaches nothing but go past the pain. It doesn't matter. You're going to get over it. And another thing he writes, but man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. We are only defeated, I would imagine, and we cannot be defeated by something outside of us. We are defeated within us. We can only be defeated if we allow ourselves defeat. Now, we may lose in a game. We may lose at chess or football or basketball or tennis or whatever. Okay. You may lose in a deal. Okay. But you are not defeated unless you allow that to define you. Allow that to drive you. So if we think about the old man going beyond everybody else, attaching himself, becoming attached to this fish, the fish becoming attached to the man without any knowledge of the man at all. The man is specifically looking for the fish. The fish is just looking for a meal. And yet they're attached. I don't know that I fully have it fleshed out, but I know that it makes me think about my attachments. It makes me think about who I am. And then the battle that ensues, the time that goes on. Now, whether that is a 3-day battle with a fish or a 33-year marriage or having children for the rest of your and their lives, a job, a career, a relationship, a friendship, you're attached. And it takes work and effort. And we can endure the difficulties and the challenges and the pain because the joy. I'm listening to a book now called The Happiness Hypothesis. And he discusses the journey. And the journey is the thing. The fish at the end is not it. It's the path and what he endures to obtain. And so it is for us. And the fish, give all you got. Fight. And maybe, I'm just thinking out loud, I'm thinking to myself, is the fish eventually is killed. The fish is eventually devoured by the sharks. So that thing that we want, that thing that we're willing to sacrifice, that thing that's inside of us. Like the next day, or when he gets back, Santiago and Marlin plan their next trip. Like, all right, that happened. Were they worried? Yep. But that moment when they become attached, you can't get away from it. When you become attached to the thing that you've sought, and hopefully the thing that you've sought doesn't mind the attachment. Well, think, read. If you haven't read the book, please read it. Again, I'm not getting into Hemingway was misogynist, he was an alcoholic. Okay, maybe. But the book is bitchin'. The book is pretty righteous. And so, that being said, thank you very much for listening. I'm signing off. Hope you enjoy the video this week, and have a great day. Thanks.